This video is brought to you by Cat. More information by the end of the video. Hey guys, I am back for another video. We'll be ranking every Pixar movie from worst to best. I really wanted to give this movie a chance, but this movie is so boring. Like, really boring. Honestly, I really thought this movie had potential, but when this movie bores me this much, why should I even care? And what was the point of the dad dying? And some scenes and characters could have been cut, and would have zero effect. Whatever, this movie is so lame. Let's just move on to number 22 of the ranking video that I'm making right now. Where do I even start with this movie? I mean, nothing. This movie is such a waste of time. This movie is forgotten and hated. The plot makes no sense. This movie is just 95% filler. Mater is really dumb and hateable. But the other two spy cars are so bland and forgettable that they leave no impact on anything. The only reason why Cars 2 beats out Good Dinosaur is that the movie is not as lame as the Good Dinosaur. Other than that, this movie is trash. Probably a 2 out of 10. Yes. There's another point, a sequel. But this movie is a prequel this time. Whoa! This movie is in another brand useless movie. What I said for the Good Dinosaur and Cars 2 can be the same for this movie. But I actually really like the emotional core of the story. It's kind of relatable to a lot of people. And this movie bores me this much. Why should I even care? By the way, why would you bring back Rand? Why would you bring back Randall if you're not even going to do anything with him? That's just outrageous. Okay, this film is weird, like, really weird. I honestly don't know how to explain it, but I will try my best. This is kinda a weird movie to talk about. I honestly can't get emotionally invested because the concept just doesn't work. By the end of the film, I was just like, what was the point of the movie? I really don't get the moral either. Like, is this movie about feminism or about respecting your parents? Or is it one of those movies like, you don't know what you have until you lose it? Whatever, why am I even questioning this film? This movie is pretty mediocre. Let's just move on to the neutral category. The film that everyone was waiting for, and when Pixar released it, everyone forgot about it. It's another bland movie, but I really like the action and the score, Jack Jack, and Jack Jack. This movie is still pretty bland and forgettable. Yeah, sad to say, but this movie just wasn't enough to keep me interested. The twist villain was pretty predictable, and not gonna lie, some characters do fall flat. But hey, it's not the worst one. I mean, we still have the Good Dinosaur, right? I don't really get the hate of this movie. It's literally just a movie about bugs. That that said, let me try to name down some positive points. I really like Hopper. He's easily one of the best Pixar villains. I also like the circus bugs. They're pretty alright. But this movie kind of blows, not gonna lie. I really did not like the Roy revealed scene, and the other ants are just kind of dumb. Bug's Life is alright, but not great. It's just kind of meh. This movie is a huge improvement from the last one, but this movie still has some problems. The main villain is bland as gray, And the movie has some filler, and it's not as charming as the first one, but I think Lightning is at its best in this movie in particular. I like Cruz Ramirez. I think she's a really interesting character and a fun one too. And I really like Lightning's character development throughout the first movie. Overall, Cars 3 just kind of tries too hard, to be honest. Finding Dory is probably my favorite Pixar sequel, excluding the Toy Story franchise, and that's because I think this film had the most thought and heart thrown at it. I think I really like the scene where Dory looks at the row of purple seashells. It really tugs at your heartstrings. I also really like the new characters; they're pretty good. But this movie feels so unnecessary, and Marlin and Nemo only appear because of the first movie. Overall, this film is kinda underrated, but still unnecessary. So, yeah. The first Cars movie. The first Cars movie is my personal favorite, and yeah, this movie has a lot of filler. And yes, J.K. is really a villain until the end, and Lightning is kind of a jerk, but this movie is really charming, like surprisingly so. I I just really like this movie. It just has a cozy feeling, you know. It feels like it has this watchability, rewatchability. I just like this movie. It's not near one of the best, but you know, it's just likable. And to be honest, what more can you ask from a movie? It was great, but it's not really great. I like the adventure, and I feel like this film would get praised in like 10 years. And I like the relationship between the brothers and all. Some of it is dumb and fillerish, and there was no villain. And yeah, Barley is kind of obnoxious sometimes. And look. The point is, this film has problems, but I really like the energy of this film, and I definitely feel like the heart between these brothers. And I also like the dragon fight by the end. We're all a fun time, but it's just kind of annoying to get through it all. Yeah, I think I agree with Shape Willows when he said the original Toy Story is the worst one out of the quadrilogy. Again, not a bad movie. I would even say this movie is a classic and, and pretty great. But out of the four, I think this movie is doing the least and saying the least. But I also think this movie is the most fun out of the Toy Story films. Then again, this film I like this I like this enough. I think this film is the most rewatchable, and then again, this film is probably isn't the most emotional. Okay, let me explain. I know a lot of people like this movie, and I can see why, but I have some issues. First of all, I think this movie has some filler, and some characters could use some tweaking. Also, what was the point of Bing Bong dying? I think he sacrificed himself so Joy can get up to the top. I'm going to say this now. I don't think Inside Out and Soul don't have any similarities. The closest thing I can think of is like the world, and that's it. I know I know that this has nothing to do with the review, but I just kind of want to clear that up. Whatever. I think this movie is kind of overrated. Amazing opening and score, but okay, rest of the movie. Let's just move on. What amazing landscapes, what amazing characters, what a breathtaking story. But just like the Toy Story movies, I don't think this movie is that emotional. I like this movie, but this movie is more rated towards children than adults. The adventure and characters definitely feel kid movie-ish. But at the end of the day, does it really matter? I don't know, to be honest. Finding Nemo is kind of weird. I like it, but it's just nothing very special, that's for sure.